Good morning, CMC. I'm Robert Yee, the Vice President of the Executive Board. Thank you so much for coming today. It's hard to believe that 2025 is upon us. 2024 was a tremendous year for us all at CMC. If you recall, it was this time last year that really marked the beginning of all the big changes that occurred. We saw God come in here supernaturally, pruned us, He brought us together, He challenged us in our faith, our courage, and walking in His righteousness to be unified for a single purpose. You know, as stewards of CMC, we have a big obligation to the Lord, and He has entrusted us to take care of what belongs to Him, so it's a big responsibility. Thank you all for your faithfulness, for your courage, and for your perseverance. CMC was nearly insolvent last year, and it's by the grace of God that He brought us through. The council had a lot of work to do, and I just thank God for His grace because He allowed us to turn the corner. The business side of the church at CMC is off to a good start and place. We now have standard operating procedures that we didn't have before, and the whole purpose of that is to have accountability, but also to be able to have a blueprint for the subsequent leaderships that will follow us so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel. I want to also thank you to those who are faithful tithers and givers to our church. You know, there's a scripture that's often misused in Malachi, and it's the notion that if you don't tithe, you're under a curse. That couldn't be further from the truth. The Lord was speaking to the priesthood of the temple, and if I could use the phrase, the leadership of the temple. As a council member, which is a part of the leadership of CMC, it is a big responsibility, and I can assure you that the eyes of the Lord are really zeroed in on the leadership. I want to thank those who are faithfully tithing. So people ask, well, what is the standard? Is it 10? Is it 20? Is it gross or is it net? Jesus gave us the standard. He gave all. We should all aspire to give all. If we have a reasonable expectation that the Lord hears our prayers and will answer, we must position ourselves in a way that we can receive. How do we position ourselves? It's very simple. It's by walking uprightly, walking in the path of His righteousness. That will ensure that we have every expectation and hope that He will actually answer and bless our lives. To those who aren't quite there yet in their faith, I would just remind you of the word of the Lord. Where your treasure is, that is where you will find your heart. You know, people are always trying to get Jesus in a gotcha moment. And when they challenged Him by telling Him that they were tithers and they did this and they did that, He said, you do. But you neglect the weightier matters: love, justice, and mercy. So to those who are faithfully tithing, I would consider His words. And to those who aren't quite there yet, I would urge you to consider that the ground of CMC is fertile. No one can dispute that God moved mightily in our midst in a supernatural way. So today is an amazing time to actually challenge yourself in your faith, sow seed in this ground that is fertile, and allow the Lord to bless your life in a way that you've always been hoping and dreaming for anyway. Thank you so much for coming today. I wish you peace and Godspeed.